I am a planner. I like to have a plan A, a plan B, an exit strategy. Because when I don't have a plan, I get anxious. In fairness, I also get pretty anxious when I do have a plan. But I get really anxious when I don't. Now, my parents are spontaneous people. That's really fun for them. When I was 13, we went on a trip together to Italy. And we are driving through the mountains one day, and we're lost. And when I say we're lost, this is in the days before everyone had GPS on their phone. So we were really and truly lost. We didn't know what part of Italy we were driving through, and we didn't have a fixed itinerary. We come over this mountain into this small Italian town as the sun is setting. And my parents see a hotel. It's not one of the big chains. It's a small, very generic looking hotel. And they're like, hey, why don't we check this place out? And I had been so anxious all day being lost without a plan that I was just thinking, yes, oh, please, let's just stay here. We drive into this hotel's underground parking garage, and I am heartened to see that it is full of cars. I think other people are staying here. It's probably a good place to stay. But we come into the hotel lobby, and immediately my spidey senses are tingling. There's no one else in there. And this hotel lobby is full of stuffed, taxidermied animals. And those always gave me the willies as a kid. And these were not deer. They were not squirrels. These were not even mammals. The hotel lobby was full of stuffed snakes. There were coral snakes and water moccasins, a great hooded cobra fighting a mongoose, and wrapping around the front desk a huge man-eating boa constrictor. And that was like a big Slytherin red flag for me. But I'm 13. I'm here whether I want to be or not. The front desk lady comes out, and this woman is herself a red flag. The best way I can describe her is that she gave off a vibe like the evil queen in Snow White, the cartoon, when she's pretending to be an old woman. This manager speaks no English. We speak no Italian. But my mom has a strategy for dealing with this, which is to speak Spanish loudly in an Italian accent with hand gestures. Necesitamos un cuatro, por favore. And it worked. The manager understands. We want to see a room. And she walks up to this rack on the wall where they have their key rings. And this is, in and of itself, a red flag because the keys for every single room seem to be up there, which again suggests no one is staying at this hotel, despite the garage being full of cars. But I don't know, maybe they had extra keys. I should mention, my parents had requested to see the room first. The hotel manager was kind of annoyed by this. I think she wanted to just have us pick a room on spec. But she grabs a key off of that rack and starts walking us up the stairs. This hotel has no elevator. And even though the hotel looks normal from the outside, the interior is an MC Escher nightmare. There aren't really any floors. It's just like you walk up a few steps, there's room on your left. You walk up a few more steps, there's room on your right. And every single one of these rooms, the door is hanging wide open. Again, suggesting no one is staying at this hotel. What's up with all the cars? The hotel manager walks us up the entire flight upstairs to the very top of the hotel, to the only room that has a closed door. And she puts the key in and opens it. And we go inside. And this room is very small. And inside this room, there is a TV, which we turned on, and it's just static. A bed. And in the same room as the TV and the bed, a sink and a toilet. So I'm going to be going to the bathroom in the same room I'm sleeping in. And my parents are going to be going to the bathroom in the same room I'm sleeping in. So now my anxiety about being lost is competing with my anxiety about the hotel room. It's like anxietyception. I should explain that my parents and I had a secret word for dealing with these situations. A few years before this, we went on a trip to Telluride, Colorado in the summer. We liked to ride the ski lifts, the gondolas up and down. We didn't know how to ski, and it was summer, but we just liked to ride the gondolas for the view. But what we found out is that some of these gondolas, we'd get in, and they would be full of dogs and cats. And now, I like dogs and cats, but I like them from a respectable distance. I don't like them up in my face, slobbering all over me in an enclosed space. And my parents didn't either. And what we learned was that those gondolas would have a label on the outside that would say, pet car. And so as we're running around trying to get in a gondola, if we would see one of them, we would shout out, pet car, pet car. And that would let everybody know not to get in that gondola. And so that became our secret word to get out of a bad situation without other people knowing. Pet car. And so I'm in that hotel room, and I'm looking at that bed, and I'm looking at that toilet. And I say to my parents, pet car? And they confirm, pet car. But we try not to let on to the manager that we're not going to take the room. We act like we're going to. And we walk all the way down all the staircase, past all those open doors, till we get back to the lobby. And my mom then tries to tell the manager, all right, actually, we're going to go look at some other hotels. This takes a minute to communicate due to the language barrier, my mother's use of Spantallion. But eventually, the manager understands we're not going to be staying there, and she becomes irate. She starts screaming at us in Italian, and we did not understand the words, but we understood the tone. And we knew it was time to get the hell out of Dodge. We walk back into the parking garage. And as we're walking past all these cars, I notice for the first time that the cars, and this garage is almost completely full, have a thin layer of dust on them, as if they've been there for a long time. And it's like something clicks in my brain, all the red flags I've seen that night. And I have a vision of every horror movie I've watched in my life. And at that exact moment, the light goes out in the garage. We start searching for our car as fast as we can, using the key fob to find it, flashing the headlights and the taillights. And then we get into our rental car. And as we start to pull out of the parking space, the garage door starts to come down. We floor it, and we zoom out of that parking garage, the bottom of that garage door slamming against the top of our car, but we escape out into the night. I used to think that life would be so much better if my parents had just listened to me and learned how to plan. But after this experience, I knew that life would have been so much better if my parents had listened to me and learned how to plan.